Okay, I don't know exactly why I'm doing this. I just got through with surgery on my eyes, and I've been sitting in a dark room for 2 days now with nothing to do. So I thought, why not go ahead and plug up my guitar, plug up my microphone, close my eyes, and play a few songs live, as it were. If any of this sounds bad, you have my best friend Brian to blame for that. I told him my idea and he did not talk me out of it. So, without further ado, this is the first real song off of my album Goodnight. This is called Headed Home. So that is an example of what you're in for if you're going to listen to this. This is the first time I have played anything just live as if it was a show in many, many years. So there are going to be plenty of mistakes. But I kind of like that. Alright, next up, we are going to try out a song I haven't played since I played live shows, This one is called Wagon Wheel. This is a cover.
Down the coast in 17 hours, picking me a bouquet of dogwood flowers, and I'm hoping for Raleigh so I can see my baby tonight. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. Running from the cold up in New England, I was born to be a fiddler in an old-time street band. My baby plays the guitar, pick a banjo now. Oh, the North Country winds keep forgetting me. Now I lost my money playing poker, so I had to up and leave, but I ain't turning back to living that old life no more. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. Walking in the South, on Roanoke, a car trucker out of Philly had a nice long took. But he's heading west from the Cumberland Gap, Johnson City, Tennessee. Oh, I gotta get a move on fit for the sun. I ain't my baby, and I never know that she's the only one. And if I die in Raleigh, at least I will die free. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me.
Well, that's definitely a version of that song. Alright, so for anyone who has made it this far into the recording, thank you. You're obviously a much bigger fan than I would expect. So, just one second. As I said, these are the surgery recordings, so I have to put some eye drops in. Oh. Alright, there we go. Like I was saying, for anyone who has stuck around this long, here is a special treat for you a couple weeks before the song comes out. This is a sneak peek at the new single, the long overdue Eviction of Sir Jiminy Cricket. So this is going to be a solo rendition. I do have a really good friend, Anson, who is singing on the entire track with me, and he puts me to shame, and I'm very lucky to have him hanging out with me. So this is for him, and this is for anyone who stuck around. So again, probably going to be plenty of mistakes. I do not play live, and I enjoy editing in my recordings, so be gentle. Here we go. Jiminy Cricket.
Doesn't tell me right from
So that is your sneak peek at the new single. I hope that didn't turn anyone off from giving the real song a listen. I'm going to take a few minutes, maybe come back, try one more song, and hope that somebody enjoys this. So give me just a couple minutes, got some more medication to take. Okay, thanks again for sticking around if you have. The last song I want to do is something pretty special to me. I've been writing some songs that I just have no way to put into lyrics, and kind of just spoken word, getting my thoughts out. And I'm not sure if I want to put them on my album yet, but this is one that I wrote that it has to have a home somewhere. And if it's going to be anywhere, I think this is an appropriate place, because I mentioned my best friend Brian at the beginning of this. I told him I was going to do this, and anyway, I'm just going to jump into it. So this song I did write for him. It's called Brian, and it's just something I'm experimenting with, so I hope you enjoy it. So here we go. I have tried many times to write a song about my best friend, but everything felt forced. I don't normally write songs about my friends for the same reasons I don't typically write love songs. I have always used music to work through the issues in my head that I find it hard to deal with, to find a way to let them out and keep them as far away from me as possible. And maybe that's why I have such a hard time writing about the things I love. I cling so hard to the good things in my life that I'm afraid writing about them will in some way let them escape from my mind. I wonder sometimes actually if that's the fact that keeps most people from knowing how much I really care about them. And I'd like to try to change that. So when I was 16, my band was getting ready to play our first ever live performance. It was a show at our high school that they called Amateur Night that provided an opportunity for students to play in front of a crowd. So early that afternoon, we were doing our sound check, attempting to play a cover of a Green Day song. And when we were done, standing off to the side of the stage was Brian Baldwin and the members of his band. Now, Brian was a senior at the time. I was a freshman, and he was what you could describe as legendary in the punk scene where we grew up. Now, I should describe our punk scene. It was basically maybe at the most 30 kids, but it was ours. And in that scene, Brian was who everybody looked up to. And there he stood, telling me that he liked our sound and liked our band. And they ended up asking us if we would be interested in playing some shows with them. Now, from that point forward, our bands became inseparable. We got into the kind of trouble you expect from teenagers rebelling in a small southern town. A different party at a different house every weekend, bonfires we kept lit through the night, sometimes with our own furniture. Over the next few years, we spent our nights drinking and dancing. Beer cans went through windows, walls became indented with the shapes of bodies thrown about in spontaneous mosh pits. The thing about Brian and me, though, was that any time we were away from the chaos, if it was just the two of us, we were creating. In fact, it kind of became an obsession. I still remember being in my small apartment bedroom, sharing one set of headphones and trying our best to clap in unison. All the while, 4 friends sat in the living room waiting to go out to dinner. When we were together, we didn't think about anything else like that. Recording on an 8-track system with one cheap microphone to cover it all, everything we did was makeshift. Brian used to tell me he felt my talent was taking something as small as a 2-chord pattern and turning it into something that felt like a complete song. So of course, in turn, I would joke that one day I would find a way to make an entire song based off of one note. And this was our life. A couple of punk rock kids. And then I got married, and doing what most people do when realizing they should be caring for someone other than themselves, I took a job that moved me far away from the life I had lived. It would be over a decade before Brian and I would reconnect. During the first days of my separation, we reached each other the way we always did when we were young. He sent me a song from a band he'd been listening to. I won't go into specifics of our conversations during that time, but I can genuinely say he saved my life on multiple occasions during that period. And honestly, that kind of brings us to today. We have a weekly video call where we watch bad movies together and compare who is becoming an old man faster. Instead of broken windows, we discuss our broken political system. Instead of bonfires, we compare the blankets and slippers we have bought to keep ourselves warm. Retired punk rock kids still complaining about the world. I'm not really sure any of this did a good job explaining why I have the desire to write about the good things now, but I think I understand it. So, I started the October days to talk about the things that matter most to me. Now I'd like to play the song that I wrote for my best friend, Brian, who matters most to me. This is his song. I love you as a friend, as a brother, as you taught me to love myself. A very sincere thank you to anyone who did listen to this. I know there's plenty of mistakes and plenty of, I don't know. I really enjoy making music, and if it makes even one person happy, then that just means the world to me. So look forward to some more music coming out next year, much more polished than this, and who knows, maybe another one of these will come out one day. Probably gonna have to have another surgery before that happens, but anyway, thanks again.